But we start this evening with a visit with Richard Blanco, who 10 years ago became well known in Maine when he was chosen to write and read a poem for President Obama's second inauguration. More recently, Blanco took on a challenge he'd never tackled before: writing a play.
That work, called Sweet Goats and Blueberry Senoritas, which ended up being a collaboration between Blanco and Vanessa Garcia, is now being presented by Portland Stage Company. No surprise there, since Portland Stage got the project started by asking Blanco if he'd like to try his hand at writing for the theater.
And I thought, well, why not? I'm always up for something new. And I wrote a first draft, which was not up to par, even I knew. And in the midst of all that, I go see this brilliant play that Vanessa had done, Amparo. It's an immersive play, and we finally got to talking. And then we went out for a couple martinis, and I asked her, would you love to collaborate with me on this? Because I'm not sure where to go with this. And then we abandoned that whole draft. And so it's really been a collaboration.
Did you struggle right from the start with that?
Yes, because as a poet, you know, we're trying to detail everything, like the color of the nail polish. And so it was like writing blindfolded with my hands behind my back because all I have is dialogue. And so it's been such an incredible journey, but I didn't have time to teach myself how to write a play and write it at the same time. But just following Vanessa's cues, it just became so much easier, just seeing what she was doing. And I just bounced back and then, okay, this is how you do it. This is how it goes, right? And Vanessa taught me to surrender, to let go. Don't worry about it. It's gonna go through 30 drafts.
Yeah.
What was it like for you working with someone who is obviously a gifted writer, but who had never written a play before?
It was really fun because what happens when you're, in the play world, you get sort of like, stuck in your ways, but then you have a collaborator and all of a sudden that jars you out of your default settings, you know what I mean? So then you get to feel like you're building something new, which was really exciting.
Give me in 2 or 3 sentences, what's sort of the basic premise of the play, or at least how the story gets started?
Nobody ever buys those.
Then why do you make them?
Nostalgia?
So it's a Cuban-American baker in Maine who has an estranged relationship with her mother. And it's all about forgiveness, loss, love, and what all of that has to do with food.
Right. And my sense of it too is I think obviously it's inspired by a lot of my own life here in Maine, finding place and home, which when I moved here in 2008, I didn't know what to expect, and Bethel has been such an incredible community for me. But also having to get used to the -20.
And here, yo pensé que iba a tener que hablar en inglés con toda esta gente aquí, imagínate.
And that is all I've got, unfortunately, querido.
Did you know right from the start, when you took on the challenge of writing a play, that you wanted it to be set in Maine and that you wanted it to involve some themes from your own Cuban-American background?
Well, that's interesting because that first draft, I had not included my culture. And I think that was the big mistake. I was writing about Maine and about these kinds of themes in that draft, and actually I saw a play here by Nito Cruz, Sotto Voce, who's a Cuban playwright, and I thought, that's what's missing. I was like, there's got to be part of me in here.
How do you feel right now as the play is getting ready to go out into the world? Are you kind of expectant parents here?
Yeah, I can't even say anything.
Don't jinx it.
Not exactly. Don't say anything, Richard. Don't answer this one.
I mean, the preview yesterday was just, I was just so overwhelmed. Just because it's my first play. Vanessa was taking notes, I'm like crying next to her. But it was more just seeing the fruit of all this work like live now. And so that alone was very satisfying.
Would you like to do a second play?
Yeah.
No hesitation.
I'm not sure I'm ready to go off on my own, so maybe we'll do another one together.
How do you think you're going to feel on opening night?
We're not answering that right.
It's kind of like things that I didn't know were inside me anymore have been rising up. Things that I think I've been trying to translate without realizing that I needed to.
I will say one thing about having a poet in the room. which is, you know, you get into this mode of playwriting where you just are constantly working, watching everything happen, and you have to make it better, and you get in this zone of like, just make this better, make this better. And there have been 2 moments specifically where Richard has turned to me, and I'm like, are you all right? Is you fine? What's happening? Because he's like crying, and he's just in the present moment. I'm like, oh yeah, this is why we do this. That's right. Okay, take it in. Okay, get back to work. You know, but that moment of take it in a second has been actually really beautiful.
Yeah, when we're doing the table, there are moments where I was just like totally overwhelmed with emotion because all the intention that we had in the play was happening right in front and in the chemistry with the actors and whatnot. And I even went out in the back parking lot and like got on one knee and like said, thank you, Lord. If nothing ever happened, even if the play's a bomb, I've had this moment.
That's such a wonderful thought. Again, the name of the play is Sweet Goats and Blueberry Senoritas.
You can see live performances of it at Portland Stage Company through February 12th or digital performances from February 8th through the 26th.